Many people want to feel in control, especially when life becomes confusing or stressful. This desire is not strange or unusual. It is a basic human reaction. When we feel in control, we feel safe, confident, and more prepared for what might happen next. But when we look deeper, we can see that the psychology behind this desire is more complicated than it seems. It is connected to fear, past experiences, self-image, and the way we understand our own emotions. The first thing we need to understand is how the brain reacts to uncertainty. The human brain likes patterns and clear information. When things are predictable, the brain feels relaxed. But when something is unclear, the brain becomes more alert. It sees uncertainty as a possible threat. This comes from ancient times when humans needed to notice danger quickly. Today, the danger might be emotional instead of physical, but the reaction is still the same. That is why waiting for an important message, exam result, or job interview can feel so stressful. In these moments, having control feels like having security. Another reason people want control is that it gives them a sense of strength. When you feel you can decide what happens in your life, you feel more stable. You also feel that your actions have meaning. For example, when you study hard and get a good grade, you believe that your effort created that result. This makes you feel capable and proud. It also increases your motivation to keep trying. Psychologists call this an internal sense of control, and it is a healthy belief because it helps you grow and act with purpose. But the desire for control can also turn into pressure. Some people try to control too many things because they are afraid of failure. They want everything to be perfect. They plan every detail and become stressed when things change even a little. On the outside, this may look like careful planning, but on the inside, it often comes from fear. The fear of making mistakes, the fear of looking weak, the fear of losing stability. When this fear becomes too strong, control stops being helpful and becomes emotionally exhausting. Another difficult form of control appears in relationships. Some people try to control what others think or feel. They might worry that others will be upset, disappointed, or angry. They might think, if I say the right thing, I can make sure they don't leave me, or if I behave perfectly, they will always accept me. This creates a situation where you feel responsible for emotions that do not belong to you. It is impossible to control another person's mind, and trying to do so only causes stress, conflict, and insecurity. Many people who try to control others do not do it because they are selfish. They often do it because they are scared. They are scared of losing love, respect, or connection. If someone grew up in an environment filled with judgment or criticism, they may try to control everything in order to avoid being judged again. Control becomes a shield that protects them from the emotional pain they once experienced. Past experiences play a big role in the desire for control. If someone grew up in a chaotic home, where people fought often, changed their moods quickly, or made unpredictable decisions, they may feel uncomfortable with uncertainty as an adult. They may try to organize everything around them because it makes them feel safe. They may avoid surprises and prefer routines, even if the routine is boring. In this case, control becomes a way to prevent the chaos they once lived through. In the modern world, social media also increases our need for control. Online, we see people who seem to have perfect lives. They appear successful, calm, and confident. They look like they have complete control over their time, emotions, and relationships. When we compare ourselves to them, we often feel that we are not doing enough. We start to believe that our life should be just as organized and successful. This creates pressure to control our appearance, our schedule, our goals, and even our feelings. But the truth is that what we see online is carefully chosen and edited. It is not real life. No one has perfect control, and expecting ourselves to have it only increases our stress. When we feel we are losing control, the body reacts strongly. Our stress level rises. Our breathing becomes shallow. Our thoughts become more negative and more extreme. Some people start to overthink every decision. Others try to plan everything in the hope that they can avoid mistakes. Some people become more emotional, and others shut down completely. These reactions are normal, but if they happen too often, they can damage our mental health and our relationships. So, how can we understand control in a healthier way? The first step is recognizing what we can and cannot control. This sounds simple, but it is actually one of the hardest skills to learn. You can control your actions, your choices, your attitude, and your habits. You cannot control other people's opinions, the past, or every future outcome. When you try to control what you cannot influence, you create stress for yourself. When you focus on what you can influence, you build confidence. The second step is learning to accept uncertainty. Acceptance does not mean giving up. It means understanding that life will not always follow your plans. Some days will go well, and some days will not. But you can still move forward. You can still learn and grow. When you accept uncertainty, you stop fighting against reality, and your mind becomes more peaceful. The third step is building trust in yourself. You need to believe that even if something goes wrong, you will be strong enough to handle it. You may feel sad or lost, but you will recover. You have survived difficult moments before, and you can survive them again. This kind of trust makes you feel more secure, even when you do not have full control. Another helpful step is letting go of perfection. Perfection is impossible, and trying to reach it only creates pressure. Mistakes are a natural part of life. They help you grow and understand yourself better. When you accept this, you stop demanding so much control from yourself and from others. You give yourself more freedom to try, fail, and try again. Finally, practice being kind to yourself. The desire for control usually comes from a place of fear. It does not mean you are difficult or demanding. It means you want to feel safe. You want to feel respected. You want to feel like your life is moving in a good direction. These are all human needs. As you learn to understand where your desire for control comes from, you can slowly make healthier choices. You can relax your mind, one step at a time. In the end, the psychology of wanting control teaches us something important. Control can help us, but too much control can harm us. The goal is not to remove control completely. The goal is to find a balance. You take responsibility for your actions, but you also allow space for change. You guide your life, but you also stay open to the unexpected. When you reach this balance, you feel lighter, calmer, and more connected to yourself. You stop fighting life and start working with it.